If I hadn't torn the lock off that gate with my pickup truck, our entire town might have gone up in flames. That thought still rattles around in my head, especially now, standing here watching a fire truck refill its tank from the emergency water valve buried just inside my property line. The same one Lisa tried to claim as hers. She padlocked it shut because, and I quote, "Your gate disrupts the neighborhood's aesthetic harmony." I wish I were making this up, but no, Lisa's HOA tyranny spiraled into a statewide emergency in less than a day, all sparked by a silver padlock, a folding lawn chair, and one woman's refusal to stay out of other people's business. It was a typical Monday morning: birds singing, coffee brewing, my dog Scout prowling the fence line like he's defending a military base. I was halfway through fixing boards on the chicken coop when I spotted her, Lisa, striding down the gravel road with purpose. She wore those oversized sunglasses that scream cartoon VY lane and clutched a clipboard like it was a sacred relic. I didn't think much of it until she headed straight for my gate. She stopped, glanced around, pulled something shiny from her purse, and before I could yell, she snapped a padlock on my gate and marched off like she'd just conquered new territory. I jogged over, dust kicking up from my boots, trying to keep cool. "Hey, did you just lock my gate?" I called. She didn't even pause. "Yes, I did," she said. "Per HOA Ordinance 14B, no unapproved front-facing structures may remain unlocked." I took a breath. "Lisa, this isn't a structure. It's a private access gate on a private easement." She smirked like I just said HOA was a myth. "That's what you think, but it's visible from the community trail. It's an eyesore. I've filed multiple complaints and secured it myself." I stared dumbfounded. "You filed complaints about my gate?" She nodded, proud as a teacher whose student finally got it. 3 all ignored, so I took action. I could have cut the lock off right then, bolt cutters, ATV, whatever, but I didn't. Not because I feared Lisa. She's got the presence of a twig and the authority of a garden ornament. No, I held back because I knew what lay under the gravel behind that gate. 10 feet down, beneath a metal hatch, was the emergency valve for the town's backup water supply, installed after the 2017 flood trashed the main system. And who helped design and build it? Me. I glanced at the lock, then at Lisa, who was already typing on her phone. "I've documented your non-compliance," she chirped, oblivious that she just blocked the fire department's go-to access point during fire season. But it didn't end there. Lisa unfolded a lawn chair, planted it on her property across from my gate, and spent the next 4 hours sipping kombucha, glaring at anyone who came near, including the Amazon guy. She even tried redirecting him to a non-existent back alley. I watched from my porch, stunned. By sunset, the temperature hit 103 degrees Fahrenheit, and fire warnings flashed on the news. I considered calling the fire department to warn them about the gate, but figured Lisa would get bored and leave. Wrong. That night, lightning hit a ridge 4 miles east. Dry brush ignited like gasoline-soaked tinder. I saw the orange glow from my window before I smelled smoke. Checking the fire map, I saw the wind pushing the flames toward town. Within 30 minutes, sirens wailed. Fire trucks roared down the trail heading for my gate. I grabbed my boots and sprinted out, hoping someone had bolt cutters. Nope. Lisa was still there, now in a bathrobe, sipping wine like she was at a resort. A firefighter leapt out and ran to the gate. "We need access to the valve now." Lisa didn't budge. "This is private property. I can't allow access without HOA clearance." I blinked. The firefighter blinked. Everyone blinked. "Ma'am," he said, barely calm, "that valve is emergency infrastructure. You're obstructing a state response." Lisa waved him off. "Then bring paperwork." I didn't wait. I ran to my shed, grabbed a chain, hooked it to the lock, tied it to my truck, and hit the gas. The metal snapped with a satisfying crack and the gate swung open. Lisa shrieked about lawsuits, but no one cared. A firefighter tossed her a warning pamphlet and told her to sit down. The fire was contained in hours thanks to the valve, but one house in the foothills was lost before they could reach it. The next day, I gave a statement to county officials. Lisa vanished. Her lock? I hung it on my porch with a sign, "Warning, may cause wildfires." But that was just the start. Once the town realized who locked the gate and why, it was like watching a domino chain collapse, and Lisa had built every piece. The morning after the fire, the town felt like it had a collective hangover. Smoke lingered, and the air smelled of charred earth. I expected a few nods at the diner, but when I walked into Betty's cafe, the place went silent. Every head turned, old guys paused mid-bite, kids stopped spinning on stools. Betty set her coffee pot down like it had insulted her. "You the gate guy?" someone yelled. I nodded. Yeah, didn't know a gate could cause this much drama. A woman at the counter snorted. Wouldn't have if Lisa hadn't locked our emergency water access. My cousin's house nearly burned. Betty leaned in. Lisa filed a complaint against you this morning, said. You damaged HOA property breaking that lock. Sheriff tossed it, but heads up. That got chuckles. A guy in overalls whispered. She's calling herself waterfront manager. Told my wife she could inspect our hose for compliance. I sat more amused than mad. She's been busy, huh? Busy was an understatement. Over coffee, I learned Lisa had been on a mission. Violation notices for untrimmed bushes, unapproved patio chairs, even a kid's basketball hoop labeled an aesthetic hazard. She'd filed more complaints in 3 months than the HOA had in 5 years. But the fire shifted things. People were talking, and by noon, word spread that the town council was holding an emergency meeting. Councilman Harris called, asking me to speak. You know what that gate's for, he said. We need the truth before Lisa spins it with glitter and passive-aggressive signs. So I showed up at town hall, clean shirt, rolled up blueprint of the water system, and a folder of contracts from 2017. The room was packed, people on the floor in the hall. Front row? Lisa in a white pantsuit, smirking, clipboard ready. Mayor Thompson opened with, Can someone explain what happened at gate F12 during the fire? I stood, spreading the blueprint. F12 isn't just a gate. It's the only access to the reserve water valve under Ridge Lane, part of the town's emergency plan and tied to the fire department's GPS. Lisa raised her hand. Excuse me, I thought that gate was private property, subject to HOA aesthetic rules. The mayor sighed. Mrs. Carter, you'll speak after Mr. Evans. I turned to her. You're half right, it's my property, but it's also a federally designated emergency corridor, overriding HOA rules. Gasp spread. Someone muttered federal. Lisa didn't flinch. That wasn't clear to homeowners. As waterfront manager, I acted for safety and harmony. Parrish jumped in. Harmony? Fire crews drove 17 miles around a mountain. A home was lost. That's harmonious. Lisa pursed her lips. No one told me about emergency plans. The town should have communicated better. That's when I dropped the bomb. The county notified the HOA in 2018. Emails show the board signed off on the easement, agreeing to keep it clear forever. I handed the papers to Harris, who passed them down like they were cursed. Lisa paled, trying to peek at them. It got worse. I showed a 2021 inspection report proving the valve was a Homeland Security asset, meaning blocking it was a potential felony. Lisa tried to interrupt, but the mayor shut her down. Enough. Your actions cause consequences and will review HOA liability. The room erupted in applause. Lisa grabbed her clipboard, stuffed it in a floral bag, and stormed out. I thought that was it, but I underestimated her grip on the HOA. The next day, my porch had a notice, Indula 800 fine for unauthorized demolition of HOA hardware and vehicular misuse. They were fining me for SAVing the town. Then came Moria cease and desist, a claim I'd set a bad precedent, a summons to an emergency conduct panel. Lisa was waging war by paperwork. I called my friend Tom, a paralegal who owed me for helping with his cabin's water system. He laughed. Lisa's like a roach in a pantsuit. We met at his office, papers everywhere. He scanned her complaints. She's citing 1980s HOA code halves unenforceable. He pulled up the 2017 easement, still active, stating no one could block emergency access. Then he showed the county's emergency zone map. My gate was a FEMA-funded critical point. Blocking it? Federal violation. Then Tom handed me a flash drive labeled HOA Watchdog. It held screenshots of Lisa's emails and chats. One read, "We locked it. He can't prove it's federal and it'll take months. He'll cave or drown in fines." Another bragged about a board ally who'd back her. I whistled. She's playing chess with lawn chairs. Armed with this, we filed complaints with the county and regional authorities. The fire marshal called that night, saying they'd referred it to the state. This is big, he said. Maybe criminal. That evening, Lisa knocked on my door, no clipboard, just folders and a smug look. I'm here to discuss your behavior or. I leaned on the frame. Lisa, you know you're under investigation by 3 agencies, right? Her smile twitched. You're bluffing. Nope, and I have your emails. She tossed a folder at my feet. Your summons to the HOA hearing. Skip it and fines escalate. I laughed. Good timing, gets the same day you're getting served. I shut the door. The next morning, I saw county officials at Lisa's house. She answered in a pink robe, clearly blindsided. Her face? Priceless. I thought she'd back off, but 2 hours later, an HOA email arrived. Board proposes temporary suspension of easement pending legal review EW. Lisa was doubling down, spinning it like I'd colluded to undermine HOA sovereignty. I called Tom. He groaned, oh hell no. The county inspector had already flagged her move, and the state's emergency office was now involved. Then the news vans hit. Channel 7, then 11, then radio crews. Someone, maybe a Blueprint fan, leaked Lisa's emails. Headlines screamed, HOA head blocks fire access, claims county overreach. Town hall footage loop, Lisa smirk, firefighters frustration. Memes exploded, Lisa's face on a castle gate, captioned, none pass without HOA glory. By noon, she went live from her backyard, wine glass in hand, claiming she'd never been told the gate's purpose and was just protecting neighborhood integrity. It backfired. A petition to oust her hit 200 signatures in hours. The state fire marshal's press conference sealed it. Obstructing the Ridge Lane valve breached emergency protocols. We're investigating HOA actions during the fire. A graphic pointed straight at Lisa's property. The HOA backpedaled, dropping the suspension. I pushed further, using an old bylaw to call a vote to remove Lisa for endangering safety. Another rule banned anyone who blocked emergency access from board rolls forever. Lisa missed that one, too busy policing mailboxes. At the vote, I laid it all out. Gate, fire, emails, lock. The facts crushed her. Lisa was ousted in a landslide. As she left the HOA office, clipboard limp, she looked lost, like her world had unraveled. I felt a flicker of pity, but only a flicker. I was already planning a new gate protocol. Smart lock, 24/7 fire access, no more leases. The week after, the neighborhood exhaled. No more petty citations. The new HOA head, Greg, was no nonsense. We met at the gate, now fitted with a digital override. The HOA dropped all fines, paid for damages, and apologized to the county. At a fire drill turned block party, they gave me a safety guardian plaque. I laughed, got a siren with it? Then Lisa appeared, hat low, silent. No scene, just watching the new system work. She left quietly. A week later, the HOA nominated me as safety liaison. I laughed but took it, someone's gotta keep the next Lisa at bay. At a county event for first responders, I spoke briefly. One lock stops water. One voice stops the lock. Speak up. Life normalized. Lisa faded, occasionally seen walking her dog, leash matching her glasses. Rumor was she tried starting a new committee, but it flopped. People learned. I helped with fire drills, a water campaign, and a second valve HOA free. The gate still stands, smart lock blinking. A scratch from Lisa's padlock telling a story. Entitlement, resistance, fire, community. One petty choice nearly burned us down, but one truck, one broken lock, made sure it didn't.